Hello everyone, CM here. Welcome to another episode of the Guardians of the United States. And today we have the Guardians of Alabama. That's right, not one, but two Guardians. Now here's the first Guardian, Miss Reed. Now who is Miss Reed? Well, I'm gonna tell you who she is. This young lady is Carrie Montgomery, who is the Guardian of Alabama, a very enthusiastic and smart young lady who is an inspiring book author who also founded a very successful book franchise called Spaceman Run Academy, a book series about a young man who wants to be a space pilot to fight for his country in outer space. And Carrie Montgomery managed to capitalize on this franchise, making deals with theme parks and toy companies and even video game companies, which made her more famous nationwide. And Bright Flash magazine have nicknamed her Miss Reeds. However, what her fans don't know, she is a mutant who secretly helps her boyfriend out with missions. Okay? Now, this is her backstory. You see, Carrie Montgomery had a fascinating backstory. You see, Carrie Montgomery was born in the year of February 14th, 1993, and was born in the city of Montgomery, Alabama. And her mother's name is Lola Montgomery, and her father's name is Manny Montgomery. And her mother worked as a government official and worked for the Department of Ethics. And her father worked for an oil company, and both would work to have a Alright, to have a sustainable income. And now back to Carrie Montgomery. And Carrie Montgomery had a rough childhood as she was born into a mid-class family and never saw her parents as they were always working, and was mainly raised by her grandfather Paul. And her grandfather was quite strict on Carrie, having her do chores, teaching her discipline, and was hard on her, especially when it came to studying and making good grades. Although her grandfather was hard on Carrie, he still loved his granddaughter, and just wants Carrie to have a good education. Matter of fact, Carrie's best memories is when her grandfather read stories to her as a kid, which eventually inspired her to one day write. Which inspired her to one day write her stories and tell it to the world. However, as Carrie got older, her parents started to come around more, and her mother got into a higher position in the DOE, and her father got a promotion at his job. However, sadly, Carrie's grandfather got deathly sick, and in the year of 2013, alright, Carrie's grandfather would pass away due to pneumonia. However, before he died, he would make sure that the rest of his savings go to Carrie and to his family, which allowed Carrie to go to college. And Carrie, before she went, she vowed to one day graduate college and to be successful one day. And when she first got to college, she would bump into a young man named Tim Burtonham, and both fell in love at first sight. And both would spend 7 years studying in college, and in the year of May 19, 2020, both would graduate college together, and as both are packing up to go back home, just then, the entity known as the Follower appears and gifted both Carrie and Tim their mutant power, and Carrie makes a promise to one day tell her stories that would entertain the hearts and minds of generations to come. Alright, now I'm about to transition in 3, 2. Alright, transition over. Now here's some more things about Carrie Montgomery. Alright, right there. Born 1993, age 34, height 5.5, weight 118.146, race Caucasian, nicknames, nickname Miss Reed, or nickname the Queen of Storytime, or nickname the Girl with a Wild Imagination. Alright, personality. This young lady is an enthusiastic type of girl who is the guardian of Alabama and an inspiring book author who is nicknamed Miss Reeds. When you first see her, she is kind with a big happy smile on her face. She is someone who has an interest in writing and reading books, and is eager to write the next book, and has a great enjoyment of supporting and loving her boyfriend in any shape or form, and has a wild but great imagination, as she uses this imagination to help her write her books. However, she has her weaknesses. Alright? For example, she can be very reckless, oftentimes spending her money recklessly, which has led to her and her boyfriend getting into heated arguments. And her second weakness is she can be a bit delusional, as she can get caught up in her own imagination. And now, I'm not saying that having imagination is wrong. It's okay to have an imagination, but make sure your imagination is not mixed up with your reality, okay? Alright. However, she might have her weaknesses, but she's not a bad person. She just has her faults. But she has a good heart who will use her power to tell her stories that would entertain the hearts and minds of generations to come. Alright, now we're going to transition in 3, 2. Transition over. Now, this is her description. She wears a red and black long sleeve flannel shirt, and wears dark blue jeans, and wears white shoes, and wears a white pearl necklace, and wears a fancy cat shaped earrings, and wears makeup and red lipstick, and wears black eyeliner, and has a thin waist, and has long red curly hair, and has hazel eyes, and has mid long red fingernails, and has a red heart-shaped orb engraved in the middle of her chest, and carries a book in her right hand called Spaceman Run Academy. Now, this is what her book looks like right here, if you can see it right here. Spaceman Run Academy. It's a book that she wrote, okay? Alright, now, moving on. Now, this is her mutant power, okay? Her mutant power is called Affectionate, and this ability goes like this. Anyone she feels affectionate towards, she can transfer energy towards them, which increases their willpower and their strength, and also has the ability to emit energy waves that has a calming effect, and can telepathically communicate with the person she is affectionate to, and can create a heart-shaped shield around her and the person she is affectionate to. Okay? That is the power called Affectionate. Okay? The power of love and support. Alright. Now, I'm going to be transitioning in 3, 2... Alright, transition over. Next is the second Guardian of Alabama, nicknamed Agent Lasher. Now, who is Agent Lasher? Well, I'm going to tell you who this man is. This young man is Tim Burtonham, who is the boyfriend of Carrie Montgomery and a Guardian of Alabama, a very responsible but caring young man who secretly works for the DOE, which stands for the Department of Ethics, which I will be getting to after this backstory. Alright, which stands for the Department of Ethics, and stands for the Department of Ethics, and the Department of Ethics uses its federal power to keep his existence not known to the public, and the DOE sends Tim on missions to make sure companies treat their employees right, and are not mistreating them or abusing their employees, and exposing them to the public, and bring those companies to justice. And the DOE's personnel have nicknamed him Agent Lasher, the agent who lashes out at corrupt companies. Okay? Now, this is his backstory. You see, Tim Burtonham had a tough backstory. You see, Tim Burtonham... Hold on. Tim Burtonham was born in the year of February 15th, 1993. And was born into City Montgomery, Alabama. And his mother's name is Carrie Montgomery, and his father's name is George Montgomery. And his mother is a stay-at-home mother, and his father worked at a factory and would work to have a sustainable income. And now back to Tim Montgomery. And Tim Montgomery had a difficult childhood, as his father always worked a lot, and when he did come home, And when he did come home, he was always stressed and very overworked, and had a bit of a temper. And his mother was an alcoholic mess who often drank all day and was rarely sober, which did cause problems with Tim, as he barely ate and left him starving for days. However, Tim would not go down without a fight, and Tim remembered as a kid that his father would apologize for him and his mother's actions, and that they are just going through hard times, as his boss at his job was not treating him right. And Tim decided he would one day help his father get treated right. And eventually Tim got older, and in the year of 2013, Tim would go to college that year, and this would be the year Tim bumped into Carrie Montgomery, and both immediately fell in love at first sight, and both spent 7 years studying in college, and in the year of May 2020, both Tim and Carrie would graduate college, and as both are packing up to go home, just then, the entity known as the Follower appears, and gifted both of them their mutant powers, and Tim Burnham makes a promise to one day bring those who mistreat their employees and bring them to absolute justice. Okay? Absolute justice right here. Alright, now I'm about to transition in 3, 2. Alright, transition over. This is the DOE of the Department of Ethics, founded March 4th, 1913. Now, what is the Department of Ethics, you might be asking? Well, I'm going to be telling you what this federal administration does. The DOE, or the Department of Ethics. Alright. This is the DOE, or aka the Department of Ethics, a government administration which was founded by a man named Arnold H. Taft, who was the 27th President of the United States, who came up with the idea of the DOE, and the DOE's whole goal is this. The DOE is dedicated to assure the safety and healthy working conditions for working men and women by advocating businesses, big or small, to be more ethical by providing better wages and treatment for their employees. Okay? That is what the DOE does. Alright, now I'm going to be transitioning again in 3, 2... Alright, here's some more things about Tim Burnham, the second guardian of Alabama. Born 1993, age 34, height 5.6, weight 136.165, race Caucasian, nickname Agent Lasher, or the Man of Ethics, or nickname Icy Hot. Okay, now personality. This young man is a responsible type of guy who is the second guardian of Alabama and works for the DOE and goes by Agent Lasher. When you first see him, he is calm, but as a caring person who will do anything. Who will do anything to protect the employees who are being mistreated, and really loves and supports his girlfriend. Oftentimes makes the responsible decisions in the relationship, and knows how to go undercover and put on a disguise to collect and gather information, and is very great at reading the mind. Okay? Alright. Now, this is his weaknesses. However, he has his weaknesses. For example, he has a bit of an anger issue, oftentimes not keeping his anger in check, which leads to a second weakness. He can be a bit cocky in his own abilities, as in he can kind of be a little bit of describe kind of arrogant, thinking that his power is just the great all be all, which has in fact led to him getting some pretty bad decisions, or making bad decisions in the relationship. In which I should say, you should never be kind of cocky. You should never underestimate your opponents. Okay, always try to be the good person in the relationship. Which, you know what? Don't even take advice from me. Go find someone who is an actual good person who knows about relationships. Okay. All right. Now, however, he might have his weaknesses, but he's not a bad person. He just has his faults, but he has a good heart who will use his power to one day bring those who mistreat their employees and bring them to absolute justice. Okay? Now, I'm going to be transitioning again. And 3, 2, 1, transition. Alright, description time. This is this character's description. He wears a white and red armored bodysuit with a temperature gauge on the front, and he wears a white mouth mask with a temperature gauge on the front, and he wears a red cape with yellow stars on the cape, and he wears technological earpieces, and he wears a red headband with a yellow star on the front, and he has a thin waist, and he has short black hair, and has red scarlet eyes, and he has a muscular body with muscular arms with a six-pack in the middle, and he carries his ID on a lanyard, and on a lanyard he wears around his necklace, and he carries two technological advanced hammers in both his hands. Okay. All right. Now this is his mutant power, guys. His mutant power is called Temperature Gate. And this ability allows him to do this. Depending what the temperature is like outside is what power he will gain. Is what power is outside is what power he will get. Like if it was hot outside, he will gain fire abilities, but if it was cold outside, he will gain ice abilities. And this guy has superhuman strength and speed, and his ultimate move is right here. His ultimate move, he can merge both fire and ice, as in he can somehow find a way to both manipulate his body temperature, where he can both manipulate both fire and ice at the same time, which does in fact have a kind of downside, because it does in fact take a lot of power away from him. Alright? Alright. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and share, and comment, subscribe to this channel, and get ready, because next, guess what? We're doing another Superpowers Explained. This time we're going to be talking about the Garden of Oklahoma and explaining his powers to you, okay? Alright. Now don't forget to like and share, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day. And also don't forget to follow me on my Twitter account at OddCinema899 right there. And thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel and have a wonderful day, and may God bless. May God bless.